But this is why I did it this way. If I could tell any baby author this, market your shit before it comes out, because I am building a community before my shit hits rather than trying to build a community after my shit is out. Because then it's less people because there's nobody seeing it. No, I built these motherfuckers up.
NL Publishing Service Academy proudly presents Listen Up, I Got a Story to Tell podcast with literary success consultant DK Walker, sharing with you writing tips, marketing ideas, publishing information, and inspiring interviews for your author journey. So, without further ado, let's get right into it with DK Walker.
Hey, I'm DK Walker, and this is Listen Up, I Got a Story to Tell podcast. Man, y'all could have been anywhere in the world today, but man, you with your boy, and I greatly appreciate that. I am not by myself on this episode. I am joined by author Kitty Pawell. Did I say your last name correct?
Pawell.
Paul.
Pawell. So it's like Kitty Paws
Kitty
and then
Pawell.
L. Pawell.
Is Kitty really your first name?
No, that's my pen name.
Okay, cool. So if you're not going to volunteer, I'm going to ask, but if you don't volunteer, that's cool. Okay, cool. So
Nope. That's my secret.
that's your secret. See, you're going to make me go on my Batman shit and do some sleuthing. Not a
Good
problem.
luck.
I had you fill out a questionnaire before you joined me on this evening's podcast. And out of all the people that I've had on my show so far, I asked two specific questions. What do you like most about being an author? And what do you hate most about being author? Now, I've heard your answer about what you like most. That's pretty common. And if I was to answer that question, I would answer that way. Painting pictures with words, not a problem. I get that. Now, what struck me as a bit odd, that I definitely want to start here on the podcast. You said what you hate most about being an author is commas.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna let that breathe for a second. Like, out of all things that a person can't stand, I like for self-published authors, it's usually marketing, right? For
No, I love marketing. Marketing is fun. I don't know why people hate it. I love marketing. Fuck commas. That's how I feel. My best friend gets on me all the time because I put my commas in weird places or just fucking don't use them at all because they're whores. But I don't like commas. So that is what I would say. What I hate about writing is fucking commas.
Okay, cool, not a problem. So my question to you, commas are our friend. You know, they commas are our friend. We're going to be nice to commas because they help us to pause in between. So with that being said, you think that would be a love affair or either a love-hate affair between the editor, not necessarily the writer, because that's not necessarily your job. Your job is just to actually take your words, get them on paper, and let your editor worry about the comma effect, correct?
You're half right. Because how my writing style works is I edit as I write. A lot of people say don't edit as you write. Look, you can write whatever fucking way you want to. It's what works for you. What works for me is editing while I write. So I do have to actually deal with the fucking commas because I'm such a perfectionist. I don't want to have anyone else's eyes on something and it's not the best it can be, or at least close to it. So I edited my book as I went, and then I edited again at the end of it before I'm sending it to my editor. So no, I've had to deal with commas the whole fucking time, and I hate them.
Okay, cool. So you said that you edit as you write, and I've come to learn that you just have to let people get their story out, how to get their story out. There's no wrong way, no right way, no perfect way to actually get your story out. But because you edit as you write, does that elongate the writing process for you?
Learn how to write faster, conquer writer's block, and tell a story your readers will love. In less than 1 month, writing only 3 pages daily, you can go from book idea to manuscript using the unfair writing advantage. Most authors take 8 months on average to write just 1 book. But in a fraction of that time, you will learn how to craft a book your readers will love and not be hunched over your laptop days on end to do so. Just go to www.theunfairwritingadvantage.com to see what has the self-publishing industry buzzing. Now back to the podcast.
Not for me, simply because how I write is I'm a little sporadic when I write. That's what my best friend always gets on me about. So I like to jump chapters. So for instance, when I started my book, I had chapter 1 done and I started chapter 2, and then I got stuck because I wasn't hearing anything anymore. So I said, fuck chapter 2. And I jumped to chapter 7 and I went on and then went back to chapter 2. So I write chaotically. So that's how I don't get writer's block, by jumping around. So when I edit, basically what I mean is I'll write for one day. And then the next day when I go back to it, I'll go back what I wrote, read it and edit it, and then continue on. So it doesn't add or take away any time for me.
Got you, got you. Now, what type of editing are you doing? Are you doing deep editing, or are you just cleaning up what you think you think how your story can flow better?
Both. I want to make sure that I have all bridges to different scenes and they all flow consecutively, because that's a big thing for me as a writer and reader. Is I hate when there's a break in flow. And for me, if I'm giving something to someone and they're reading it, but it's not a ladder where you're going to the next step, it's just you're over here from over here. How the fuck did we get here? So that's where I'm looking to make sure that they're called plot holes, but I'm making sure that there is a bridge to the next scene and everything is blending, and maybe I need to change something here or tighten something up here, or just, no, I haven't deleted something completely, thankfully. I'm pretty good that I haven't had to delete something outright, but I do have to tighten some things up.
Okay, okay. So besides commas, right? What is the most challenging thing that you find about writing, or just
Um,
your author journey in general?
Besides commas. Damn, I'm not gonna let that go. I hate them.
I'm gonna have you married to commas before the end of this episode. I promise you. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, fuck them commas. Really? And I'm not trying to sound cocky when I say
No,
this.
be
I'm really
you.
not. But there's really not there hasn't been a struggle for me as of yet. I haven't really run into an obstacle as of yet.
Okay, that's a great
The
thing, by the
only,
way.
yeah, I think it's been pretty awesome because I've been writing since I was 7. So I have written for a long time and I've always told stories for a long time. So I already had that in me.
Okay,
Then on the flip side, my biggest thing was, as we call imposter syndrome, was of course getting in your whole own head thinking that you're not good enough. I just kept thinking that for whatever reason, people weren't going to like my shit, which is so stupid. This is why it's stupid. I have 2 blogs, erotic blogs, which I am going to actually take those down and turn them into books. So one's for
smart.
poetry, one's for, yeah, one's for fantasy, sexual fantasy. And people read that shit all the time. So I know that people, so it's just like, I needed to get out of my own fucking head and get out of my own fucking way so I could just actually do what I wanted to do, because my goal was to be, and I know you say you were going to ask me my age, but it's perfectly fine. I don't give a fuck. I'm an age. It's a number. I wanted to be published by 26. I am now 29. So I'm 3 years late. But the point is, I'm still going to be published before the end of this fucking year. That's what I'm focusing on. Because that's what used to fuck me up, is you're past 26, you're still not published, so you're never going to be published. That's what I used to go in my head. So now I've said, no, fuck that. You're going to be published. It doesn't matter at what fucking year, you're going to be published. And that's the point that I keep putting in my head. So I don't get discouraged. So I don't think that I'm not good enough or think that somebody's not going to like it. So I've changed my mentality.
So let me ask you a question. And asking this question, maybe I can help you deal with imposter syndrome. Do you believe in affirmations?
I've heard of them. I don't necessarily not believe in them or believe them. I don't have a good relationship with affirmations, but yeah, I
Okay.
know about them.
So the premise of affirmations, positive affirmations anyway, is what you tell yourself. And if you constantly tell yourself this one thing, this positive thing, because it's you that's telling yourself this positive thing over and over, you'll start to believe it. And the reason that you'll start to believe it, because since it's you having this inner conversation with yourself, the mind can't differentiate between the truth and the lie, because it's you that's doing the talking to you, right?
Mm,
So my definition of positive affirmations is nothing more than a beautiful lie. That's all it is. It's just a lie until that thing's comes into
becomes
fruition.
true. Yep.
But so with that being said, I've learned to lie to myself beautifully since I was a kid. Like, because
Mm-hmm.
I had shortcomings. I didn't feel I was not good enough in so many fucking areas. And thank you for
Mm-hmm.
being on the show, because I usually don't curse, but because I got somebody to curse, I promise you, it's not a problem. So
You're welcome.
it's yeah, and I owe you for that. With that being said, like when I was coming up as a kid, I had to find a way to get out of my own way. My friends would hype me up, and I would just always feel less than. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure where the light bulb went off. It was just like I had to stop believing my shit don't stink.
Yeah.
And that translated into some people perceiving me as being cocky in certain instances, but they didn't understand that me being that way was hiding so many insecurities until it became a way
Mm-hmm.
of life. If I do something long enough and I know I'm good at it, I don't have no more self-doubts. I don't have
Yeah.
no more self-doubts about self-publishing. I don't have no more self-doubts about getting on this doggone microphone talking my shit. I just don't, because I am who I am, and this is what I
Yep.
do.
Yep.
And then once you constantly become that thing, so it's like this, you have to become that thing before you produce it, whatever it is you're trying to produce. So you have to become an author before you produce the book. You have to believe this is me. And it's not even a time frame thing, because life is going to get in the way. Only time life is not going to get in the way is when you dead. Life is going to life until you die. So you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have hangups. You're going to have so much shit come at you. But your job is to finish, and you're going to finish always in your time frame. But congratulations to you for dealing with imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome can be a bitch, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of friends who still deal with imposter syndrome, but my biggest thing was, okay, here's the imposter syndrome. It's not someone telling you that you're not good enough, because fuck them. Who fucking gives a shit what they got to say?
1,000%.
They don't matter. Nobody else's opinion, even family, can take it somewhere. Your loved ones and things, but ultimately, no one's opinion of you fucking matters, because it's not your business. You shouldn't know their opinion. If they're growling, they keep that shit to themselves, unless it's constructive criticism. That's different.
Facts.
But that's not an opinion. That is just where, okay, this is how I'm seeing it, and I just wanted to let you know. You could do with it what you will, but ultimately, I'm okay, because it's your situation. That if it's coming across like that, they take heed to that. But if it's just, you shouldn't do that, okay, why? Because you're not good at it. How am I not good at it? If they can't give you a concrete answer, fuck all that shit. You ain't got to listen to nothing that they're saying.
Right.
So if you're hearing this voice in your head that's telling you you're not good enough, start asking them that fucking questions. Why am I not good enough? Because other people are doing it. Okay, so why can't I do it? It's just typing. It's literally typing fucking words. Anyone, now, this might be controversial, but anybody can type, but not everybody can write. There is a difference.
Speak on it.
There is a difference.
The floor
You
is
can
yours.
type. I type on my keyboard all the fucking time. I type to text messages, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can write. And a lot of people, whether they're indie or traditional, and that's what a lot of people need to stop thinking, is that indie authors are the only ones that have this. No, there are a lot of traditional pub art authors that have trash ass books. And it's just like, how did you get published? So that's where it was a big thing for me, because I devour books. So I'm like, if this motherfucker can do it, not even necessarily the money thing, but just being published and having their shit recognized. I know I write. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? So I'm like, fuck this shit. And I wrote, and I came up with a book within 6 months.
Writing your manuscript has been hard enough, so let NL Publishing Service Academy make self-publishing your book easy as possible. From beautifully designed full and ebook covers to uniquely done typesetting and formatting, our goal is to professionally enhance your manuscripts and book covers to give your readers the best reading experience possible. Need marketing tips, tactics, and strategies? We can help you with that. How about branding and broadening the reach of your author platform? Yep, we can help you with that too. So no matter what your self-publishing needs are, NL Publishing Service Academy has you covered. Just head over to www.nlpublishingservices.com for whatever your self-publishing needs are. And now back to the podcast.
Congrats. So you had spoke of earlier, I think you said this, yeah. You said this on camera, right? You had spoke about having 2 blogs and that you were going to convert those into books. And I told you that was very smart. You can take that content, make money for you. Uber smart, by the way. The only validation that you need being an author is that of your readers. Yeah. And then you still have to take that with a grain of salt. Like you have some people that hate on your shit just because, right? When you're reading the reviews of your book, you can find the ones that really read it and they're tuned into what you were trying to convey to them. And so you can take that as constructive criticism, pardon me. But the rest of that shit, let it slide off your back. I promise you.
I keep telling people, because a lot of authors, indie authors, main authors, think that reviews are not for authors. I disagree. This is why I disagree. If someone's giving you constructive criticism, okay, I liked where you were going with this, but I felt there should have been more, or I felt there should have been less, that's constructive criticism. You want to pay attention to that. Right. So you don't drag it into the next book or next series or whatever. But if someone, say for instance, they just give you a rating, but they say nothing, ignore that. If they just, well, I didn't like it, ignore that, because it wasn't for them. Your book is not my book. most definitely is not going to be for everyone. There are going to be some people who will be clenching their pearls and, oh my gosh, I can't finish this. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. You went on the adventure. You don't have to finish the fucking adventure, but you went on it. I just appreciate that you picked up my fucking book in the first place. So people get in their mind that they're not good enough because they read a review. Stop. First of all, stop. You wrote the book for you. All these other people seeing it is extra. You wanted to accomplish something and you did. Pat yourself on the fucking back for that and just enjoy the rest of it. That's it. You did the journey. You finished it. You fulfilled that dream of being published and getting it out there. Now you'll have people who will love your book. Awesome. Wonderful. Feels great. Someone who will be okay with your book. All right, that's cool. Give me your opinions. We can have a conversation. And some people who hate your book. And then you'll have trolls. Fuck them hoes every day. And twice on Sunday. No one gives a fuck about trolls. Twice on Sunday.
Before after church. Before after church.
Yeah, after. Hopefully. No, maybe you should do it before, because after, I think that would be frowned upon. Regardless. No one gives a shit about trolls, but it's the trolls that people get stuck on.
Right.
And that's the sucky part. You just see all this negativity, and then you see maybe one positive one. Focus on that one. Focus on that one. Make that the brightest star in your dark sky. That one. Because, okay, here's my thing is, everybody knows that when it's dark as night, literally, you can see the stars. Focus on that. Focus on that.
1,000%.
Because if you just focus on the fact that it's nighttime and it's dark, you can't see anything. All right, that's depressing. But if you do focus, everybody who lives in the country, they can see the stars. In the city, it's too populated because it's all this brightness. So if you think about it that way, like your mind is a country Perry and it's just dark and you can see all the stars, but you can actually see them. Focus on that because that's quiet. Because if you focus on all the negativity, that's loud. That's the city. That's just going at you. Don't focus on that. Pick out the good ones. Focus on those. That's my advice.
That's great advice, by the way. Let me be nosy. How did you get so wise in your young years? Have you been through a lot in life, or have you witnessed a lot in life?
So I've always actually been quite mature for my age. Always have been. But there's some things that I have been in my life, yes. And they're not the prettiest of things, or they're not the funnest of things. They're actually quite shitty, but I have always had this attitude that you don't let certain shit shape you. You can always learn from it, but that's why I tell people I don't have regrets. I make mistakes and you learn from them bitches, but I don't do anything to allow it to be a regret, because they're not, one, that's negative and it's a negative connotative and it's going to shape me. Fuck that. And two, you don't necessarily learn from it. So if you can turn a regret into a mistake, okay, I did that shit. I fucked up. Yeah. Don't do it again. Focus on that part. My parents, I was raised relatively well, but my parents were together for 13 years. I apologize. And they argued a lot.
Okay.
A lot. And they ended up getting divorced, which did hit us hard because my parents were both very hardworking parents. So I went from seeing my father every day to seeing him every other weekend to not always seeing him every other weekend. And I became so angry because I thought that was bullshit. But see, an adult now, I understand. I still don't like it, but I understand that he had work. But for me as a child, it just felt like you didn't want to see it. So it's fine. I don't want to fucking see you either. That's how I felt. Right. I'm not saying it was right, but I was entitled to that feeling as a child. But they did get back together. I can actually say that my parents divorced, remarried, and have been married for, 2023? 13 years.
Congrats. True love will always find a way. Let's talk about the genre that you are currently writing in. What is it?
Look, so my genre is technically an erotic romance, I believe. I think that is the genre. Because shit changes nowadays. There's so many fucking things that you have to keep up with that shit. But I think the base genre is erotic romance.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm sticking with.
Final answer.
Yep.
Not a problem. So how did you start to write in that genre?
Okay, so here's the fun part. I'm weird, okay? I've already warned you, and I'm warning you again. I am weird. So how when I was in high school, I have oh no, you said I could say whatever I want. Okay. I've always been a very not a sexually active, but a high sex drive person.
Okay.
But I don't like people. So the way I could get that out was writing. So instead of actually just sleeping around with people, no, fuck that shit. I don't like people enough to do all that. There's complication, fucking feelings. I ain't got time for all that shit. No. So instead of doing that, I would take it to the imaginary part. So everything that I was fueling and thinking about and dreaming and daydreaming, I'd write. And that's where the blog started because I just
Okay.
had to get it out. This is how my book came. My book originally started on my blog and it was titled, When is a Lot of Sex Bad? Which, when is a lot of sex bad? It's not, never bad. It was supposed to be 3 parts. Okay. Then TikTok, specifically Book Talk, I'm seeing all these people writing and living their best life. And I'm like, man, fuck that. I want to live my best life. I'm happy for them, but damn, I'm kind of jealous. I want to do that. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I took it down in November. And then it just came out of nowhere because I had a basis, but I barely any of what's in that original story in the blog is really in that story. It's like a very small part because the rest of it just came out of me and I just wrote it and it's awesome. It's very hot. And I can't wait to hear people's reviews. I really can't. Even if they don't like it, I don't care. People talk about it.
And that name of the book is?
So the name of the book is called Lust Drunk Nights. And it is book 1 in the Kiss and Tell trilogy.
Congratulate you. And so I haven't read your book, but I'm going to tell you why your book is going to be good. And I'm not even going to smoke. That's one thing I don't do. I'm too old to lie because I can't remember that shit anyway. So I'm just being honest. You got to tell the truth. I don't know. Like, it's no need. Like, why? Like, you got to remember it and you got to remember how you said it and how you damn all that.
No, that's too much.
Right. So this is how I know your book is going to be good, right? Because of the excitement that you're showing and you're not scared to speak about your book. Like excitement transmitted from the author in the pages to the readers is a win-win situation every time. It trumps if the story's not perfect. It trumps if you have plot holes. It trumps everything as long as you can take the excitement that from your pen to the page to the reader. I promise you're going to have a great book. When you see this podcast and you see the face that you made, like your cheekbones went up, you looked like you was Chinese because you was like super happy as fuck, right? But a lot of authors, they'll say they love their books, but and I don't want to say they don't believe, but it's easier to get a great review or a great feel for a book when an author is passionate about their work and showing it. If somebody came up to you and asked you about your book, they're going to get that energy. And that in itself is a form of marketing. She geeked off that shit. Oh, get that. And it may not even it may not even be that their genre. But simple fact that you're geeked off of it, they like, I gotta go. I want some of that, whatever she's selling.
Yep. The coolest part is my friends tease me and say, everyone knows who Kitty is on TikTok. I'm like, first of all, no, everyone does not know. But they keep telling me that everyone does know. Don't tell them this. But a lady I don't know on Facebook saw my book cover and she's, I've been hearing a lot about this. I'm going to have to check it out. I'm like, excuse me? You've heard of my book? She's like, yeah, I've seen it all over TikTok. What? You've seen my book? I don't know you. So how did you see my book? That is so cool. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. But this is why I did it this way. If I could tell any baby author this, market your shit before it comes out. Because I am building a community before my shit hits, rather than trying to build a community after my shit is out. Because then it's less people because there's nobody seeing it. No, I built these motherfuckers up to make sure they want my shit.
See, I don't want listeners to miss what you said. I honestly do not. If anybody's been following me, I say the same thing on every blog. Every podcast. You have to start your book Soon as the idea, forget the cover, forget that you started writing. As soon as the idea hit, you need to be talking about your shit. As
Yep.
soon as the idea hits, you need to be I don't care if you're doing the latest trends on TikTok, the latest trends on IG, you have to some way, somehow, some form, find a way to talk about your shit.
Yep.
And never get tired about talking about your book. Because what
Ever.
happens is once again, energy can be transformed. You take
Mhm.
that excitable energy that you're showing right now, right? You get this, no disrespect, but you get this, and you're supposed to be, because this is your hard work coming into fruition, right? And then somebody that never heard of you, what happens is that energy was transferred and the book sold. And so what
Yep.
you do is you find a way to, okay, let me amp this to 1,000. Like, how can I get this energy in front of as many people as possible? And then
Yep.
what happens, the book sells itself. Why? Because
Yes,
like you said,
exactly.
right,
Because you did all the work.
like you said earlier, you started to build this up off the head. This is going to end in 10 minutes. I'm enjoying talking to you. Do you go somewhere on?
Yeah.
Right. So when this end, 9 times out of 10, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you another link and we're going to get right back at it. This is going to shape to be one of my longer podcasts. Cool, because I'm enjoying myself. And there's a lot of things I definitely, at least 3 to 4 more things I want to touch bases with you about.
Okay.
My next question to you
I
is,
got nothing to do. So
you said that you love marketing, right? And when we know with so many self-published authors, they would rather run through hell with gasoline draws on before they attempt to
yes,
market.
and I don't understand, but
Right. So I need to know, why do you love marketing and what are you doing to market your book?
okay. So marketing is fun for me because I am a creative individual. I already make shit, like tangible, real products. And the second part, I'll bring one of my products so I can at least show it. So I already made stuff with my hands. So marketing really wasn't hard for me because it was just like, okay, you got to think about it the same way. You're marketing yourself. So that's why I'm a big, big supporter of being your fucking self, whether you're on social media or not. The only thing that is different from social media and real life is my fucking name. I act the same fucking way in a real life. So I don't got time for patience. No, I don't have patience like that. My patience is shorter than I am, and I'm 5'4". No. So when it comes to marketing, I specifically like to make videos. And there's different types of videos. It's not just me speaking videos. There are a lot of aesthetic videos that I make, and I do that through CapCut, where basically I'll take a lot of photos from Pinterest and I just love photo editing. That's also fun. Put them together and put some text over it and find a nice trending song in TikTok and then send it over. So one of the videos I did recently was some quotes that my male characters say that give them BD energy. And I'm sure you know what that means. But for your readers, it's big dick energy. So I made sure because the whole point is guys and girls, because guys can read my book and they could love everything that the guys are saying. I'm open. I don't give a fuck. I just want you to read it. I don't care what you are. So I want that to be the first thing you think of when you see my book is, oh, she talking about sex. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Talking about fucking sex. You might want to read that. That's what I do for my marketing. I make it copy. It's easy to catch. I think a lot of people, sometimes when they do videos like that, which I did one. I messed up, fucked up by accident, but they don't look at it to make sure that every word is spelled correctly. So that throws me off as a reader because then I'm reading it, but then it fucks me up because then I'm like, wait, what word is this supposed to be? I'm thinking more of what word that's supposed to be than actually taking in what you actually wrote. So I think taking that extra step to just read over it. And I'm so mad I did this recently. It was supposed to be like every and it was ever. I was so pissed. But it happens. It's okay. I'm a human. But that happened. So I think that's good marketing. I think having social media, that was my biggest thing. I had all the other social. I did not have TikTok. I hated TikTok simply because of how it was for a millennial, how it came off is the dancing and the fucking thirst traps and all that bullshit. I'm like, bro, I'm not about that. So I'm never going to need TikTok. But then I discovered that they have different sub TikToks. And book talk exists. I was like, what? Nerds? Like me? Oh, fuck yeah, we in there. Anime nerds? Oh, bro, no. Shut that shit down. So I joined and I found all these people that are like me. And this is awesome. But then I started to see people's videos. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can do that. I can make some aesthetic shit. I can put up some funny quotes. And like you said, with the trending music, you can most definitely do it. The trending music is good. It will help you out because it gets more people listening to it because they're probably listening to that fucking song. It's popular. That's fine. I can suck. Time for the song, but stay for the sex. That's kind of how I think. So I try to make it if possible. And that's how I market. And I do pretty good. I get about 200 views on my videos pretty much consistently. So I'm doing pretty good.
Wow. So I'm going to ask you this last question as you were talking. Something I'm going to do that I haven't done before. I'm actually going to break this interview up into 2 parts. So you're going to be on back-to-back weeks. That's the first. Congratulations. Because
yeah, I'm special.
You are. But one question I'm going to ask before time runs out here is this. Where do you see yourself going as an author, although you're very early in your journey as far as bringing your first book to the public? Where do you see yourself eventually heading?
Well, don't judge me, but because of my imagination, it would be really cool, even if it wasn't Left Struck Nights, or LDN as I like to call it, to actually do a pornographic movie, to direct it. That would be sweet. It really would.
Okay.
And I don't mean that bullshit like fucking ELJ. For all the people who liked her, yay for you. Wonderful. That shit's trash. No offense. Anyway, I don't mean shit like that. I mean like production. Make that shit as developed with the plot, but make them sex scenes just mwah. That would be so cool. It doesn't need to happen, but if it did happen, that would be cool.
And that answer prompted me to my next question is, what's stopping you from turning your book into that movie, henceforth a porn movie?
I mean, nothing except research. I would do my due diligence first, of course, to make sure that it would actually be possible. And then I won't say nothing. I retract. I'll rewind. The only thing that's really actually stopping me would be money, because I need money for that. But if this book does well, shit, that's on the table. It's most definitely on the table. Ain't nothing off the fucking table. I'm gonna do as much as I fucking can.
Oh, God, girl, I love your energy. Look, we're going to put a pause in it right there. Like I said, we're definitely going to do a part 2 to this. So I'm going to kill this, wrap it up. This will be, I'll let you know which week this will air. And the second one, the next one we got to do is going to follow right up to that. So you'll have back-to-back weeks. Anyway,
Okay.
This is DK Walker. I appreciate y'all joining me. Look, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, do me a favor, leave your boy a review, man. Leave me an honest review. Look, if you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my page. I'm not asking for a lot. Leave me an honest review there too. But subscribe to I got to get my subs up. Please subscribe to my page. With that being said, I will catch you good people next week. And I will definitely have next week, and I'm bringing her back with me next week. That's a promise. Peace.
Okay.
This episode of Listen Up, I Got a Story to Tell podcast has ended. But please be sure to subscribe for more literary strategies and tactics to help you create the profitable, successful author career you've always wanted. And don't forget to rate and leave a review so we can continue to bring you the best author and book-related content. See you on the next episode.